everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Drop Zone. I'm Jonezy, and as you can see, I'm joined by my wonderful panel today, and we are going to go through Raw, Smackdown, the draft, the Backlash predictions as well. So a lot to get through. So let me start by introducing these wonderful guys. Craig, how you doing, mate? Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, good. Thanks, mate. You?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. Not too bad. Long week.
Good.
But it's been all right. Adam, how you doing, pal? You all right?
Yeah, very good. Thanks, mate. Thanks for having me as always. You okay?
Yeah, all good. Thank you very much. And George, nice to have you on again, mate. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. I'm had a good day today. Caught up with wrestling, so it's been good. How are you?
Yep, not too bad, mate. Same. Caught up with wrestling and ready to go to talk about it all. And Tony, how you doing, pal? You okay?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Recovered from the weekend, so yeah, good.
How's Alexa?
She's good. She said she'll be returning anytime soon.
Okay. Well, keep us posted, why don't you?
I will do.
And Abdi, how you doing, pal? You okay?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. Not too bad. How are you?
Yeah, very well, thank you. Very well. Ready to talk wrestling?
Ready indeed.
Ready. Right. So let's just say a couple of hellos in the chat. First of all, we have El Smuggo himself. Evening, chaps. How you doing? Mr. Tom, as always, of number one Leeds supporter and WWE fan. Thanks for joining us again. So yeah, there's a lot to talk about, obviously, with the draft and everything that's coming up. So we'll kick straight into it with Smackdown from last week. And we had Paul Heyman announce that Roman Reigns is withdrawn from the draft. So it was kind of an interesting decision. I'll go to you first, Tony. What did you make of that whole thing with Roman being withdrawn and not being available for selection?
Again, I think they're making him a special attraction, aren't they? I think they're going to allow him to just go back and forward wherever he wants. I think it's possibly, again, it makes the storyline a bit more interesting of where he could pop up at what time. So yeah, I think it's a great move.
Cool. And does anybody here have any suggestions when we might see Roman finally return? I know there's a lot of rumours circulating about SummerSlam is when he's due to come back. But there were some rumours going around that saying he could possibly be back sooner. Is that something that you could see possibly happening?
Yeah, if I was to guess, and it's a pure guess, not even I've not even read anything about it, to be fair, I would have said maybe after Clash at the Castle. So maybe, another sort of 6-7 weeks from now, giving him time to build up for something at SummerSlam. I'd be surprised if it was, exactly 4 or 5 months post-Mania. Unless there's something with him that we're not aware of, I suspect he'll be back slightly before.
Cool. And so, yeah, then we went straight into, obviously, after that, Corey Graves was in the ring and he was taking care of the contract signing between Cody Rhodes and AJ Styles. Abdi, I'll come to you next. What did you make of the whole segment? It was like a lot of respect between the two, wasn't there?
Yeah, it didn't have to really be like the typical disrespect between two people and just fighting and having a blood feud. Essentially, you can have these types of feuds and matches where it's just about simply who's better, and that's the thing that's between these two. Like, that's why everyone wants to see them compete. It's a matter of respect between the two, even though AJ is a heel. Sometimes you can just do that. I thought it was a decent segment. Builds the intrigue, and it was good. I enjoyed it.
Cool. And Craig, is this a match you're looking forward to? It's two great talents in the ring together. It's the first time probably that we've ever seen it. I don't know if they've wrestled before. I don't think they have. They did make
first time ever.
First time.
Yeah,
ever.
I think they mentioned, didn't they? It was the first time. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I mean, AJ Styles is very talented, gifted. I think Cody as well. I think they'll both complement each other. It'd be good to see what they put on. First time seeing these two go at it. They're both, Cody's obviously champion now. AJ's been champion before, so yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think it'll be a pretty good match.
Yeah, should be pretty good. And we had, like you say, there was no fighting, was there, between the two? No fisticuff sort of thing. AJ walked away. And then Triple H music hit as Cody was exiting as well. And George, Cody's getting a lot of respect from Triple H, isn't he? Like, the two have got like a mutual respect now. And it wasn't always the case, was it, when he was breaking the throne in AEW?
No, obviously it's a lot's changed in a matter of months or a year as well. So yeah, it's I suppose like he's the main guy at the moment, isn't he, Cody? So yeah, I can see like the mutual respect that they both have. It's quite nice, I suppose, if you're romantic.
if you're a Cody crowd, baby.
Can't really get too excited about Cody Rhodes.
That's why I asked you and not Abdi, mate.
Jonesy, quick question, either to the room or even to the chat, because I'm not sure. Were those guys ever together in the Bullet Club in New Japan, or did they miss each other timeline-wise?
Don't think
they missed each other. No, they missed each other.
Ah, interesting.
Cody, they were in WWE at the same time, 2016. So no. But Cody left afterwards and joined 2017-ish.
It's interesting. It's strange, like you say, they've never actually met in the ring together, which is quite rare these days with different promotions and companies all about. So I think it'd be a good match. I'm quite looking forward to it, to be fair. And then we had the first picks. I'm going to run through them quickly. Bianca's to stay on SmackDown. Jey Uso's the #1 draft pick. Sorry, for Raw was first. Carmella Hayes was a surprise one to SmackDown. It was Mellow time. And then we had... what did you make of that, first of all? I'll go to you, Tony. Carmelo Hayes coming up. Do you think it's about time he's come up? I mean, he's done great work in NXT and he's had great matches with the likes of Trick Williams and people like that.
Yeah, I think with Carmelo Hayes, I used to watch NXT week in, week out, probably about a year ago, and he was really good. I think, obviously, we'll get to it at the end, but the main event obviously showcased some of his ability, and I think he's going to fit right in, especially on SmackDown. I think he'll fit right in.
Cool. Was anybody disappointed in the first round draft picks, or did you think anybody should have been in the first round that wasn't or was overlooked, or do you think they've played it right? Anyone can open. I'll open that up to anyone. No,
not really.
It's about right. Yeah.
Go on.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, it seemed more about. I think the whole draft, without going too far ahead, was about kind of reiterating, kind of delineating, whatever the phrase is, to say, okay, look, here's your SmackDown roster, here's your Raw roster, rather than in and of itself a shake-up like they might have had in the past. It's more about, because bear in mind, over the WrestleMania season, Cody was on both shows, Seth was jumping about, the Bloodline were appearing on Raw, Judgment Day with the tag titles were going here, there, and everywhere. So I think as much as anything, it's about drawing a line, saying, okay, here's your Raw roster, here's your SmackDown roster, and the draw's just a clean way of doing that at the draft. So.
Yeah. And that's what it felt like, didn't it? It felt like it was keeping your established superstars rather than any big moves other than the NXT guys. But was there anybody you feel like, Abdi, I know you watch quite a bit of NXT, and I think Georgie as well, and Tony, is there anybody who from NXT who obviously wasn't a champion that I'll ask it now, but even though it's early in the draft, we're starting, but was there anyone you were disappointed you didn't see come up?
Not particularly, because there were like people that you probably could have. I thought Gallus might have been someone that could have been an option. I thought Fallon Henley would have got a call up in terms of what's going on there, but judging by what happened last night, she's staying where she is. I was surprised about one of the ones towards the end of it. We'll talk about that a bit later on, but as for NXT, I feel like you got the people that you were going to get. It wasn't going to be a trick. It wasn't going to be a Roxanne, as they're the champions, and it was explained in yesterday that champs are protected anyway. So yeah, I think you got the people that you're going to get. Couple of interesting ones, but yeah, for the most part, I thought there would have been a little bit more, but it is what it is at this point, and I feel they got the right amount.
Cool. And Adam, just quickly touching on that point about the champions, was that something you were glad that they kept the champions locked on their shows?
I wouldn't say I was glad, and I think I might have put it in the group chat. I certainly said it somewhere. They kind of went to great lengths, or went to lengths to kind of unbrand specify the title belts. It wasn't Raw and SmackDown champions. It was this and that champions, not Raw and SmackDown women's champion. It's world champion. And then they promptly, the first draft after that, say, the champions stay where they are.
Yeah.
And I think with the fact that Roman Reigns wasn't involved and Seth Rollins wasn't involved and Rhea Ripley wasn't involved, I think it took a bit of star power away from the draft. We're talking about whether they shook it up or not. There wasn't much shaking they could have done. Kind of the top talent had already been kind of either withdrawn from the draft or for whichever reason was not taking part in the draft.
Cool. And then we went into our first match of the night. We had LWO versus Legado del Fantasma for the 1000th time, I think it is now.
It's over. It's over. Don't worry, bro.
And we finally got the reveal, didn't we? That we've all been waiting for.
Cheapers.
It's a long time coming, isn't it, Abdi?
Yeah, it is. And the way Carlito pegged it afterwards just made me chuckle so much. It's just his facial reactions, and then he just hops it and just runs away. And I'm like, where are you going? But yeah, no, it's done. We're done with this. I think we all expected it was going to go in this direction. I feel like they held off because they thought everyone's like, oh yeah, nah, it's Carlito. But like, yeah, we're done with LW and Legado. Yeah, they're all fantastic, but it's been going on for way too long now, and we just need to move on. And what happened Monday was best for everyone. Let's just see what happens with Carlito, I guess, because there's stuff that could go down with that still.
Yeah, definitely be interesting because obviously
I thought it was a bit silly how they did it. Obviously, it was meant to be a bit like back in the day. Triple H revealed as the attacker for HBK.
Yeah,
He then kind of blindsided him and knocked him out. But the problem was with this one, Dragon Lee, you could see it was Carlito doing it. Like he run away afterwards. He stayed there and up. But Dragon Lee, like you must have seen it was him. And Dragon Lee's not vanished. He's been there. He's in the ring with him at the time. It just makes sense to me.
He just went through a door, didn't he, and come back, and he was like, "Oh, what's happened?"
Yeah,
it was
a bit dopey, I suppose.
It was crazy a bit. And then we had our second match of the night, and that was over before I even blinked. It was Braun Breaker and Cedric Alexander, and it was a spear off a front flip off
handspring,
and then a spear. They're obviously building him up, and they're just giving him squash matches at the moment, which is interesting. And then we had, who did we have? Oh yeah, here we are. We had Tori Wilson and Michelle McCall come out. It was a nice little surprise. And they announced the draft picks, which I'll quickly run through, which was Randy Orton stays on SmackDown, Braun Breaker goes to Raw, Nia Jax to SmackDown, and Liv Morgan stays on Raw. So again, nothing there that was a surprise to anyone. No, pretty much the same. Yeah, I think night one was, as everyone I think has said, was a bit of a letdown. We then had Paul Heyman in the car park, and the car pulled up and Solo in his new drip with his MFT, and asking if they had got drafted, and obviously they hadn't. And then I'm going to skip through because it was a lot of promos, wasn't it, and chatting this Raw. So then we had Bianca Belair. She come out as a draft pick, and she was with Jade Cargill, but Damage Control came out first, didn't they? And there was a little confrontation, and we're finally getting the women's tag team titles on the line. George, and we won't make our predictions just yet, but Jade and Bianca, if they were to win them, do you think that would bring a bit of prestige back to the women's tag team division?
Yeah. Plus, I really like Jade, so so I definitely think it would bring prestige back to the titles. I'm a bit bored of Spooky Warriors. I think they're the champions, aren't they?
Yeah.
So I'm a bit bored of that now. It'd be nice to actually see it like change hands, and why not Jade and Bianca? I think they deserve it as well.
Yeah. And Craig, just coming over to you, mate. They're the sort of superstars that could bring the level back to that women's tag team division? Do you feel they're the best ones to make it a worthwhile title now?
I think so, and I hope so. It's just we've gone back to the old where they were just chucking people together for the sake of it, for the tag team division. So I hope it's not just that. It's they become a team. They maybe have a bit of a title run, if they do win it. But I think at the moment they're up there as the two most dominant women's wrestlers on the roster. I think that's what I think. So I think they will bring some prestige to it. I just hope it's not another one of these chucking two women superstars together to form a team just to make the tag team division relevant.
Yeah. And then Adam, could we get something along the lines where Jade turns on Bianca and actually the titles don't change, because that's what I've been hearing a lot of, and then we finally get the Bianca and Jade feud that we're probably all wanting at the moment.
Yeah, that's what I expect. So we'll get to the predictions later, but I expect there'll be some dissension, be it deliberate or whatever, or accidental, I should say. And then we'll see. Yeah, we'll see Kabuki retain and Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair feud after that.
Really interesting.
Yeah, you got different thoughts, Abdi?
Yeah, I think that will be an eventuality. I just think they're going to have the team ups like now, really, and hold off on that and wait for a moment in time to really do that. Because if you pull the trigger now, you kind of look ahead. What have you got ahead? King and Queen of the Ring. You're not going to do it over there, are you? Clash of the Castle. You've got other stuff that's in the pipeline for that, really. Money in the Bank. Come on, not Money in the Bank. SummerSlam is a possibility where you could get that matchup or the ball rolling towards it. But yeah, I think they'll have a bit of a run first before they do the heel turn angle, the turn angle, whoever it may be.
Cool. We'll definitely see. It's good to have a difference of opinions and what we think is going to happen. Makes it better for the predictions as well. And then while they were having their promo on the up at the stage area, we had Kevin Owens and Tama Tonga fighting, and then obviously Solo, and then we had Randy Orton. He's got himself now involved to help his buddy Kevin. And then we're gonna have a tag team match at Backlash this week. We'll talk more about that as we go on. The Dudley Boys, nice return. They come out as well, and they did the third round picks, which was obviously a run from me and LA Knight on SmackDown, Ricochet on Raw, Bloodline stays on SmackDown, Sheamus on Raw. And then we went into Tiffany versus Naomi, a match that was like, what was it? The winner will face Bayley. Then we all know what happened. She come out, didn't she? Nia Jax, who likes to get herself involved in everything. And Tiffany does her prettiest moonsault ever, and she leaves him lying in the ring like she did the week before, which was interesting. We can't really talk about it. Obviously, the prediction, the triple threat match that's coming up. But Nia Jax, I want to talk about her just quickly, if anyone wants to talk about her. Tony, I'll go to you.
Of course. He sounded well excited about it.
I tell you what, Tony, it's in your hands. Book her for the rest of the year. What are you doing?
I'm thinking that she needs to have. It's difficult with her because you want to like her, but you can't because there's nothing there. As in, like, she needs a decent storyline. Not I'm just going to beat you up. I'm just going to do it. She needs a storyline behind her, and I think that maybe her potentially joining the Bad Line or the Bloodline might be something that everyone can get behind a bit more. I think if she does that, I think she's going to... Yeah, I think that's probably what she'll need for the rest of the year to make her at least something credible and something... Because at the moment, she just turns up, sits on people and screams.
Yeah, pretty much.
I heard she's going to be Sister Abigail.
What a life.
Is anybody here a fan of her work?
No.
Or is she just an annoyance?
I think she went downhill when she screamed out, "Ow, my butthole," or whatever it was. Like, my hole, yeah. Like, I just haven't been able to take her serious since that, to be fair.
I think she's improved since, from her first run, and she's been a lot better. And I've to be fair, I've enjoyed more of her work. I wouldn't say like it's the thing that I'm looking forward to and all this stuff, but when she's been in the ring, she hasn't really, done anything that makes me go away or get out of here. She's doing what she needs to do, and she's doing it well enough. So I think it's a bigger improvement. As for her, what she can do creatively in storyline, not a clue what she can do, but the switch makes sense for her. Switch over, fresh challenges, fresh opponents, stuff that she can do. She's there to fill in really and be a challenger for somebody and be a foil when needed. And so I still think she has credibility. But yeah, we'll see how things go with her.
I feel like a proper heel because on this show we started with a Cody Rhodes AJ thing. I was negative about that. Which and I can't. I take away the blindness. I do not see the point of Nia Jax at the moment.
Fair enough.
I just can't warm to her. Like, and it's like Craig said, as soon as some of the lines she comes out with, I'm like, just no, yeah, Nia. So yeah, hopefully
It happens.
Be a bit better, but I'm not holding much hope. I'm hoping that someone else returns instead, Tony?
Hey, listen, sorry, go on.
No, I was going to say, because obviously, well, like I said, with her in the Bloodline, like what just said, I think that her speaking, it makes her promos aren't anything great. No. She needs a mouthpiece. So if she joins the Bloodline, Paul Heyman, like, literally,
yeah,
he can get anyone over, and if he can get her over, then
deserves a knighthood.
I mean, he's already in the Hall of Fame, like not like Rey Mysterio yet, but but yeah, I think again, she's like she's got so much ability there, but it's just channel it in the right storyline, and all it needs is a decent storyline that can propel her to greater things. So, fingers crossed.
You're not so.
Interesting. Abdi, was there something you wanted to say on that?
I was just going to say quickly, sometimes people have certain people that they have a certain like image of them in terms of how they feel about them, and even if they do go away and come back, that feeling might not change. Yeah. So maybe that's something for some of these guys with Nia. But I feel like over time, the time apart, she's not my favorite by any means, but like I think she's a lot better than where she was before, and she hasn't made improvements. That's about it.
Interesting to see where she goes. Then we had Teddy Long and JBL come out, and they announced the next draft picks, which was AJ Styles to SmackDown, Alpha Academy stays on Raw, Andrade to SmackDown, Kiana James from NXT coming up.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, that's a big one. You know, good.
That's the one I didn't expect.
Yeah, and I don't think no one really expected that one on the night, to be fair. And then we moved into our main event, which was really good, wasn't it? Cody Rhodes and Carmelo Hayes. I think a solid main event for Raw. The rest of the show was pretty dire. I think first night everyone was expecting a lot more, maybe some surprises. But there was rumours as well circulating that Cody Rhodes had hurt his shoulder, but I think he put them to bed soon after on X, on Twitter, whatever you want to call it these days. Craig, I'll go to you first of all. What did you make of the main event, and what did you feel? Is that the first time you've seen Carmelo Hayes in action?
No, I've seen him a couple of times on NXT, but not like religiously. I don't watch it, weekly. I think he looked good. I didn't expect him to beat Cody, but he looked good. They had a decent match. It kind of made the other hour and 30 odd minutes, whatever, worthwhile by seeing that main event. Just going back to Jay, he couldn't help get a dig in at Rey Mysterio, could he? He never has since he beat him. He's not happy, is he?
Retired him, didn't
he?
Yeah.
He did indeed. But yeah, and Adam, just on you, because I know you said you don't watch quite a bit of NXT yourself. Is that the first time you've seen Carmelo Hayes?
It's probably the first time I've kind of sat down and watched a match stuff, if you know what I mean. I've probably seen bits and pieces. I was aware of who he was and all of that, and he's been knocking about. But it's the first time I've probably said, okay, what's this guy all about? And yeah, it was a really good match. I enjoyed it a lot. Cool.
And George, yourself? Thoughts on the match?
I'm actually going to say something positive on SmackDown.
Blimey.
It's not about Cody. I really enjoyed the main event. I thought Carmelo Hayes that really showcased what he can do with his talent. I've watched him a few times on NXT, so I definitely think he deserves to be on the main roster now and at that level. And I wouldn't mind seeing him knock Logan Paul off of his perch, to be fair.
Yeah. Different show, isn't it? But like we say, we could see some trades, hopefully.
Same show, actually. He was just on Raw for the draft.
Oh, yeah, he was just on Raw.
He's a SmackDown guy.
SmackDown guy, yeah. It's because they were both on both shows. I'm getting confused myself, and I've got notes here as well, and I'm still confused. But But yeah, there was the botch, wasn't there? The famous botch, Tony. Did you see that when they both tried to do a springboard at the same time? And that's when the injury apparently happened to Cody. What did you make of the main event as a whole? Sorry.
To be honest, again, like the guys have just said, I think the match was really good. I expected it to be good. Like Craig said a minute ago, it made the whole hour and 35 minutes of Smackdown that weren't so great. It made up for it. I think he is a good talent. Like I said, I've seen him on an NXT before. I think he's got a big future in front of him. I think especially now, Triple H is dealing with most of the stuff. I think Triple H knows what to do with them, not turn their name into something else generic and completely annihilate them and make them worthless. I think he potentially could be, like George just said, that go after Logan Paul. Why not? I could see him at that level in probably 3-6 months, maybe a year, and then after that, propel himself, and then who knows? He could finish his story.
Abdi, is that something you think Hayes should do? Melo should go down the US title route?
It's a possibility. We'll see what his alignment is in terms of what he's doing going forward, because he did turn heel against Trick, and it's sort of carrying over a little bit. So we'll see how that develops. But he was drafted at number 3 in this whole draft, so that says big things that are expected for him and probably in the pipeline for him. So I'd expect him to get something substantial going forward this year. Who knows? It could be a surprise Money in the Bank win or something. Could at some point take the title off Logan Paul. Who knows? But big things for him.
Good shout, to be fair. Right, I'll just run round and grab your scores for Raw this week, Craig.
Smackdown.
Sorry. I'll tell you what.
All over the gaff tonight.
Someone want to take over? Craig, your results for Smackdown.
There we go.
I'm probably gonna go for a 7.
Cool.
Yeah, I think I would have gone lower, but I think the Cody and Melo match just made it a little bit higher for me, I think.
Oh dear, I thought I was high what I was picking.
Adam, your score?
So I think it was what it was for a draft show. It's always going to be a bit difficult because you've got to keep starting and going and having, an announcement, and it can get a bit repetitive at the best of times. So I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10.
Cool. George?
So I was going quite low, and then I had Craig's number, and I thought, maybe. So I had it as a 4.
Yeah.
Till Michelle and Tori turned up. Then it went up to a 5. And so
I bet it did.
I can't put any
to 11.
That probably weren't the only thing that went up.
It's just hit 9 o'clock. We're all right. It's not PG anymore.
We're all right, yeah. Only waiting for that till 9 o'clock. Yeah.
So was it a 5 then, George? Or
I can't increase it before Tony says something else inappropriate.
Okay. Tony, your score?
I'll go with a 7. I think it was saved by the main event, to be honest. So, yeah.
And Abdi, yourself?
I know you don't like the 0.5s, but 6.5 from me.
Take it as a 6. But yeah, so that was Smackdown. We went into Raw, a lot more to talk about. We started off with Logan Paul. I'm sorry, I'm just reading my notes because there's a lot. Logan Paul got out the car with Tony's best mate, Speed, and they were welcomed by the Judgment Day. I don't know why this boy is anywhere near the WWE, but hey ho, that's their decision. And then we had Becky Lynch come out, and she says she wants, to be the best champion she can be and beat the best. We had Liv come out and say that she's owed a title shot. I'll go to you first, Adam. Is she owed a title shot?
In as much as, anyone can be. I know what kind of Becky Lynch said, you can't just come and demand one. You've got to kind of pay your dues and work your way up. So that could be a little storyline there. They have kind of Liv Morgan demanding an immediate shot, but Becky Lynch said, well, actually, look, you've got to beat this person and that person. A little bit like, and I don't want to mention other shows, but I think it was MJF did to Chris Jericho or something like that. So like, someone, I can't remember. If you want a title shot, you've got to do X, Y, and Z, the 3 stages of hell, that sort of thing. So maybe lift something from there where Becky Lynch says, okay, I'll give you a title shot, but you've got to prove yourself to me first. Maybe Liv wins Queen of the Ring if she's entering it. And then it's like, well, okay, look, I've proved myself as the best of the best in the women's now, so let me challenge for the title.
Yeah, good shout. And then she come out again, didn't she? She's always around, old Nia Jax. She was out and she was getting involved with them, and then it's going to lead into a match that will happen later on in the night, wasn't it? Liv Morgan versus Nia Jax, which would come later. We then had Jey Uso arrived in the car park, and then Stephanie McMahon we saw backstage, which was always nice to see Steph. And she come out and did the first round picks. It's great to see her back on TV, to be fair. It always feels proper when her and Triple H are around. It just reminds me of the old Authority days and, DX and stuff like that. I just like seeing Steph as much as probably will do. But she did the first round picks with, Imperium, Jade Cargill to SmackDown, Damage Control to Raw, Kevin Owens to SmackDown. And then we led into pretty much Rocky IV, didn't we? It was Gunther versus Xavier Woods. Craig, what did you make of the match? I know we had Kofi threaten to throw in the towel. That match just showed a different side to Gunther, didn't it? We know he's brutal anyway, but it just showed that ruthless side that we're longing for.
Yeah, it was good. It showcased Gunther as just an absolute animal. It was a good match. I didn't quite get the towel bit, and maybe it was because of the Rocky reference. Who knows? But it was a good match. It only makes Gunther look better going into the King of the Ring. King and Queen of the Ring. It was a good match.
Yeah, pretty good. And Mr. Tom says, did he owe Gunther money or something? It was like a mugging. It was literally like a mugging, wasn't it, Tony? What did you feel about the match? And obviously, Ludwig Kaiser's now staying with him. Do you feel Imperium had a third member?
Yeah. Again, I think we'll get to it a bit further down when we talk about draft picks. But he did a podcast with someone a couple of months back and saying that he would love to add Dragunov into Imperium. And obviously, I think all the things have set in motion where I think we will see him come in to Imperium. So I think they will add a third member. I think it makes sense to do that. But yeah, everything Gunther touches at the moment is just gold. He's just got that magic about him where he can't put a foot wrong, and he makes it look so. We know, sorry for people, we know wrestling isn't, but I know.
What?
I know.
Pleasure is.
But
I think you're cancelled for that.
Next, you tell me Santa's not real.
Whoa.
That's too far.
Gets to bed.
Oh, I took it. So sorry. You did say it was after 9 o'clock.
Yeah, gets to be in bed.
I think with his slaps and his chops and how hard he hits, I think he does make it really, really amazing to watch. And he does go on that line of, you think, is it, isn't it? And then you see the scars on their chest and everything. Gunther, he's amazing. The match was good. Like I said, everything he touches is great. I think he did go a bit hard on him at sometimes, but I think throwing in the towel business was quite good as well.
Yeah.
I don't think he was ever going to give up, but again, he gave up to the STF. Sorry, that's the John Cena one, but he gave up to that. So it was a good match. I enjoyed it.
Cool. And George, I'll just go to you. This next question. Gunther and we can say his name, I think now. Brock Lesnar was a match that we was gonna see before. Obviously, we won't go into any details about what happened, but is that something? I actually wanted to see that. I don't know about the rest of you guys, how you feel about Brock or whatever. But I actually wanted to see Brock versus Gunther. Just hopefully they would have put Gunther over. You'd never know. But George, give me your thoughts. Is that a match you would have liked to have seen happen, and who would you have put to go over?
Yeah, I would have liked to have seen it. But I think I would have put Gunther over. But I think it would have been a really good match. I think it would have been a good feud as well, because I think we could have had a couple of matches, not like these other ones where I've seen them go on, like with Carlito for about 6 months, and now I've got to wait another 6 months to watch that on Raw. But yeah, with Gunther and Brock, I think it would have been a really good match. I know we might come to it afterwards, but something about Dragunov with Imperium, I don't see that happening. Personally.
I'll go to Abdi then next, because Mr. Thomas said he's got a weird feeling Dragunov will join Imperium to kill time before WrestleMania, because that's a worthy match. Do you agree?
Yeah, I do. These guys, Gunther and Ilya, beat the piss out of each other all over Gaff.
Yeah.
They've done it in an empty BT studio for nothing, in front of nobody. And you can find that on the network somewhere. It was like somewhere in 2020, that dreaded year, but at least you got something positive out of that one. And their takeover matches as well. Anytime these two compete, they bring so much intensity between the two of them. And you put that in front of a Mania crowd, it'll be even more magical. So yeah, as for joining Imperium, I don't know about that whole business. I'm not going to say straight out shoot it down. I don't think it's the best move. I feel like Ilya is one of those people who should always be at odds with Gunther and against him. Never really.
Gunther shot.
Yeah, he's back. He's back, mate.
Oh, did I go down?
Yeah, you cut out, mate. You're back now.
Sorry. Okay. Yeah, I just think Ilya should be someone who should be at odds with Gunther rather than aligned with him. I'm open to the idea of it, but yeah, we'll see where it goes. It could be some weird infiltration thing where Ilya joins and then afterwards tears them down from the inside, like Daniel Bryan of the Wyatt family or something. But a longer version of it. But yeah, we'll see where that goes. But Gunther, brilliant as ever, future King of the Ring, can beat you in so many different ways, brings that brutality, brings that intensity. You don't know how he's going to win. He can win by pinfall, submission, jumping off the top rope, drop kicking you, clotheslining you, powerbombing you repeatedly, choking you out, putting you in an ankle lock. It doesn't matter. He'll do whatever. He's just complete. He is a complete wrestler.
He is indeed. And Mr. Thomas said it was NXT UK 2020. Walter, who's obviously now Gunther, versus Dragunov, best match he's probably ever seen. So it might be worth having a watch, guys, in the chat or whatever. If you've never seen that, definitely a good match. We then had Logan Paul.
The connections as well, the sounds. I'm sorry. Just in the studio.
Yeah. It made it feel a lot more realism, didn't it, with the slaps and everything.
Yeah.
And then we had Logan Paul. He come down to the ring with his best mate and Tony's friend, Speed. And, they announced the next picks, which was CM Punk Raw, The Pride on SmackDown, Braun Strowman on Raw, Tiffany Stratton to stay on SmackDown as well. Then we got a whole little Jay and Logan Paul, didn't we? Let me just bring George back in. Welcome back, George. And we had a little Jay and Logan Paul standoff and celebration and left the Bloodline. Then we had Judgment Day come down as well. And then Logan Paul, they started attacking him, didn't they? And he went and got old Pat Mahomes Super Bowl rings. And we'll just say Logan Paul missed his intended target and he cleaned out Big Ed JD McDonough, didn't he? And we've all seen the results, I think, today as well. If you haven't on Twitter, he's like he's been cattle prod. When cattle gets prodded with a hot steak, that's literally what he's got in his head. The 3 Super Bowl rings. And then Craig, we had the return of this man. We saw he got drafted like 5 minutes earlier, and then he comes out. You happy to see Braun Strowman back?
I am, yeah. After everything that happened with Bray and stuff, and how much he was impacted by it, and it's good to see him back. I hope this time they are able to kind of do more with him. Obviously, there's rumours he could be part of the whole Wyatt Six, Uncle Heldy. I think that would be good. It's just before, it's like they didn't quite know what to do with him before. They never really had him in a title picture, or they did and he was losing, or he did and he won it, but then he only had it for a short amount of time. So yeah, I'm happy that he's back. I do like Braun. I hope this time round they have prepared something for him to do, and they book him a little bit better.
Yeah. Adam, are you in agreement with sort of Craig there with the whole he was booked totally wrong? Because remember when he first come or went solo, wasn't it? Him and Roman had quite a feud. And I remember seeing them at the live event, to be fair, at the O2 when it was, Braun Strowman versus Roman Reigns. And he was looked set to be the next big guy, he beat Goldberg and stuff like that.
Mm.
Do you feel they'll get it right this time round?
So I think, first of all, yes, as Craig said, I think he will be part of the Wyatt family, Wyatt Six, whatever it's going to be. I think the problem with him is, I think they're reticent to put too much of a rocket behind him because he's had a couple of injuries now. He's a little bit unreliable there. And also, I don't think he's quite, so he's devastating, he's great to watch, that sort of thing. But I don't think, a bit like with Gunther, he's not quite a kind of all-round wrestler. Scary, unstoppable guy. But I don't know if I'd fancy him in a 20-30 minute main event match at SummerSlam, for example, or Mania. He's much better in quick little things, coming out, wreaking havoc and leaving. So I think that's how they'll book him, and I think that's how they should book him, personally.
Cool. And I'll go to you, Tony, next. Do you feel Strowman's a bit like Omos? They just don't know what to do with him because he's so big and obviously he might not have the stamina.
Yeah, I think, like we just said, he is very injury prone. I think in the last couple of years he's had more time out than I think he's had in the ring, to be honest. I know obviously he went and then come back and had his own health issues with mental health as well and that. So I just think that if he comes back this time and it's for a long time, they need to just use him sparingly, not every week. I think seeing him every week on TV will kind of get a bit boring. Again, with the Wyatt family, I think they'll probably put him in that group. It makes sense. Obviously, and I said before we went on air, I think he's the first piece of the puzzle.
Yeah.
I think you're going to get, over the next couple of weeks or months, you'll get other people join him. But yeah, I'm glad to see him back.
Cool. And then we went into the Intercontinental title match. We had Bronson Reed versus Sami Zayn. It looked like Zayn was going to get the win. And then we had Chad Gable. I just almost called him Chad then. Chad Gable come out and he attacked Danny. And then obviously Bronson Reed jumped the both of them and held the title aloft. George, I just want to talk to you about that. I thought we would get this match this weekend. Or do you feel it still needs a bit more building?
I was thinking we might have got it this weekend, Backlash, to be fair. I think I like Bronson Reed. I think he's quite good. Definitely, I think he's getting a good push as well. But yeah, I was a bit surprised, and I wasn't that we had it. But yeah, I thought we might have had it at the weekend, but I assume we're not having it. So yeah. Obviously, I think Gable. I'm just going to call him Gable because I'll probably end up getting his name wrong as well. I thought Gable would have kind of took a bit of a seat back, and then it would have been Reed and Sammy. But I don't know, unless they're going to just push for the triple threat.
Cool. Abdi, what's your thoughts on it? Are they pushing towards a triple threat in the next pay-per-view?
I don't think it'll be the next pay-per-view. I think it will probably be on Raw at some point. They like to have title matches on their weekly shows at the moment, and it gives something to give intrigue to the show, something to hook people in. So yeah, I think they'll go down. There's a possibility they might slip it in on Saturday. I doubt at this point in time, unless something changes, but. I think eventually the plan is for Sammy versus Chad at one-on-one at some point again, whether that be King of the Ring or whether that be at Clash at the Castle. We'll see. I think they might hold off for Clash of the Castle because they might put Chad in the King of the Ring tournament. We'll see. It depends.
Cool, definitely interesting. So we'll keep our eyes peeled to what's coming up. And then we had the APA, which was good to see. Oh, Ron Simmons, and another appearance for JBL, which was good. We did get the Dam, which a lot of people were asking for. We got it a little bit later on. But yeah, they made their picks. We had, LWO to Raw, Delgado Del Fantasma to SmackDown, Drew McIntyre to Raw, Shinsuke Nakamura to SmackDown. And then Drew come out, didn't he? And he said he's fractured his elbow, or CM Punk fractured his elbow, but he's been strapping it up and carrying it on. But I'm just loving. And then we had CM Punk, didn't he? He was up in the skybox, and then he come back down to ring and tricked him. I'll go to you, Craig. CM Punk and Drew McIntyre. It's just pure cinema, isn't it, at the moment, them two on the mic?
It's brilliant, mate. They're both really, really good at what they do with a microphone in their hands. It's definitely building and building. I would have thought probably at SummerSlam, them two having a match, which I think has got the potential to be a really, really good match.
Mm-hmm.
But I just love that PG era's gone. When he called Drew a bitch, and like just the back and forth that them two are having at the moment. It's just, you really look forward to when Drew comes out, or when CM Punk's there, and you just really look forward to hearing what them two are literally going to say and slag each other off the whole segment. It's really, really enjoyable at the minute.
Cool. And Adam, just go to you with the whole CM Punk stuff. It's good that he's, even though he's injured, but it seems like this time around, CM Punk is very, I don't know, Drew called him corporate punk, didn't he? He's more of a, how would you put it? He's more of a best for business guy, I would say, at the moment with Triple H and that. Is that the sort of Punk you're liking, or do you feel he's been nerfed a bit?
So I wouldn't say I like that Punk. I think kind of individualistic, anti-authority kind of Punk is what you need. It's the only way CM Punk is going to work.
Mm-hmm.
I'm more interested in Drew McIntyre. I mean, he's quite intriguing. Obviously, he's definitely a heel, but he's not the kind of, he's been more aggressive before as a heel. And I particularly expected after what happened at WrestleMania and then the next night on Raw being robbed of another title opportunity, I kind of expected most of the guy kind of, feral and kind of totally lose it. We might see him coming out with like unkempt hair and beard and just attacking everyone, being held back by referees and security. But he's kind of taken it all pretty well, and he's still kind of almost laughing and joking with the cameraman and that. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It's kind of intriguing. It's kind of, realistic, which I like about this kind of feud with Punk at the moment. It feels real. It feels gritty. It feels kind of something which could really happen in a kind of real life environment if wrestling was real, if you know what I mean. They both kind of feel a decent shade of grey, and again, I don't mean that in a negative way. I mean, it's not black and white, and yeah, it's very, very interesting. The feud's interesting. I'm really looking forward to the eventual match. Hopefully it'll happen quite soon. Notable, CM Punk didn't have any strapping or anything like that on his arms this time, which I think is one of the first times we've seen him kind of out there without that. So hopefully it won't be too long. Hopefully, if not Clash of the Castle, maybe Money in the Bank, we'll see them too. They might save it to SummerSlam for a marquee match there. But I think, as soon as we can, let's see them two in the ring. I'm looking forward to it.
Cool. And Abdi, I'll just come to you with this last question on Punk. Are we in a honeymoon phase with CM Punk? We know what CM Punk's like. I think all of us know what CM Punk is like. Do you feel he's in a honeymoon phase with WWE at the moment, and could that wear off?
I guess to a certain extent, yes, because it still hasn't really gotten going in terms of in-ring wise. We've seen him mainly in promos because of the injury situation, but it's an odd one. I don't know in terms of how people feel like where things change, and because there are people who love Punk and there are people that don't like Punk, but at the moment I feel like the fans are mostly WWE. They're enjoying Punk and they like Punk. They've missed him and they've wanted him back for a long time, so they're just enjoying every every second they can get of him at the moment. And the stuff that he's given them at the moment in terms of promo work with Drew is very riveting, and it's the best storyline at the moment going in WWE. And I came across a quote. I'm not sure how true it is, but it did make me chuckle. Drew McIntyre said, I think it was on the Pat McAfee show, that if he wasn't married, he'd steal Punk's girl, which is a menace level, you know. So that's something I could hear him saying, potentially. But yeah, I'm loving what they're doing at the moment, and it seems like he's not too far away at the moment in terms of where he's recovering. So I'd probably say maybe I don't even know the time frame, but Clash of the Castle is a real possibility in terms of making a return and maybe getting physical. It might not even be the match there. He might cost him there. So we'll see.
Cool. We then had a match then. We had Maxine Dupree and Candice LeRae. They're carrying on their feud. And Ivy Niles getting involved in that as well. We then had Alundra Blaze. Sorry, was that?
I mean, not anymore. That's something that's going to be finishing as well.
Okay, yeah, because they've been swapped over now, haven't they? So
yep.
That's the end of that. But fair play to Maxine Dupree. She's doing a bit better in the ring. You can see she's working. And long may she carry on. We then had Alundra Blaze and Teddy Long do the round 4 picks. We had Judgment Day to Raw, Naomi to SmackDown. Then we had the main one, which we'll probably talk about quickly now at the moment. Dragunov was drafted to Raw, which is big. And then Adam Pearce finally got rid of Chelsea Green, which he was very happy about, as we saw backstage. We've touched on Dragunov within Imperium, but it's a great, great pick, isn't it, George, for Raw?
Yeah, I agree. I feel for me it was probably one of the big picks for all the draft. No, I wasn't impressed with the draft at all. That Craig knows about the conversations we've had, but
just a bit.
Yeah, but Dragunov I thought was probably, if not the best, it was definitely in the top 4 out of the ones that I was really hoping for. I just want to see Gunter against Dragunov again on the main stage. I think the match, like Abdi said, the matches they had previously, they were a different level, especially at Takeover. So I do believe it's a WrestleMania match. So obviously they've got to try and kill time towards that. And I just I don't want to see Dragunov in like with Gunter and that. Just let him do his own thing, and I don't know, let it build up. Let him cost Gunter King of the Ring or something.
Yeah, good shout. I want him to go out on his own, make a name for himself. Not have Imperium behind him. But whatever they do, I'm sure we'll probably enjoy it. At the moment they're putting out great stuff. So other than that, chats. But we then went on to Becky Lynch. Liv Morgan was facing Nia Jax, and we had Tiffany show up. She was at ringside. Then Bayley was there as well, and there was all chaos at the ring. And then Liv picks up her win, and potentially now we'll probably see Becky and Liv in a title match at probably the next pay-per-view. The Dudley Boys came back out and done their picks. We had the New Day to Raw, Pretty Deadly to SmackDown, Lyra Valkyria, another great pick for Raw. She's been called up from NXT, and then SmackDown got Candice and Indy. I'll go to you quickly, Abdi, just a bit on Lyra Valkyria. For people who haven't seen her, just give us a bit of context about her.
So she was in NXT UK. I think she was under Aether Valkyrie, but when she came to NXT, she switched over to Lyra. She won the NXT Women's Championship from Becky Lynch. How to describe her? She's a very good wrestler. That's the best way I can put her down to. Her character work, promo skills have been coming along. They've been improving solidly. But she's mainly like a wrestler. So we'll see where they put her down in terms of character wise and where she fits in. But she's a very good addition to the Raw Women's division, and some fresh new blood in there that is much needed and I'm looking forward to it because she has that history with Becky Lynch, and big things hopefully for her.
Just a question in the chat, and I'll chuck it to you, Adam. When, obviously we don't know the dates, we're not his physios or his trainers, but when would you kind of say we expect to see Seth back in the ring?
I expect sooner rather than later. I mean, I know he had a bit of surgery on his knee, but I would have thought either at or just after Clash at the Castle, so 6 weeks from now.
It's going to be good to see him back, to be fair. Yeah.
As you said, I have no idea. I'm not basing on any inside information or anything.
I feel like with the knee injury, because he had surgery, I feel like it's going to take a bit longer now because his meniscus was torn, so I think it's going to take another few months. Some people even say maybe you won't see him for the rest of the year, but either way, he's earned the break and the rest and the rehab and recovery. So hopefully, when he comes back, he's going to be fresh, rejuvenated, and healthy.
I've heard just rumors, whatever. You can't take nothing. I'm not in the know, but I've heard Royal Rumble next year, so kind of along the same lines. But as long as he comes back fit and healthy, that's all we want. To be fair, we then had Awesome Truth versus the Alpha Academy. That was over before I got back from the toilet. But quick match, and then Tozawa didn't do his dance, which was good for him. And then we went Adam Pearce and Nick Aldis made their last picks, and then we had the final testament to Raw, DIY to SmackDown, Bronson Reed to Raw, and another call up from NXT, Blair Davenport, which is another great shout for SmackDown to get her as well. She's done good things. Tony, Blair Davenport, I don't know if you know too much about her, but she feels a bit like Paige when she was in her goth stage, but not Paige, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I don't know much about her, to be honest. But yeah, she does have elements of herself that resemble Paige. Again, I've not seen her much, so I can't really comment on her. But anyone that comes from the good shores of the United Kingdom can't be that bad, can she? No. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, sorry, I don't know much about her, to be honest.
That's all right. Anybody in here seen much of her?
Yeah, she's an interesting one that I didn't expect to actually be called up as well. But when on the face of it, it does make sense. She's also very good in ring. I wasn't really expecting too much from her in terms of, because she hasn't done too much in NXT. It feels like she hasn't really got going there. She has had like title matches and stuff, but never really reached that upper level. So she might be there we'll see how she does on the main roster. It could be one of those things where sometimes they're not so hot in NXT, but they just hit something different on the main roster and they click and they become a main event superstar. Sort of something that happened for Alexa Bliss. Didn't really work out too much in NXT, but came to the main roster, multi-time women's champion. So we'll see.
Yeah, Mr. Tom makes a great point there. She's been around for a while, Blair Davenport. She was in AEW, wasn't she? And left because of
for a little bit,
issues. But we won't touch too much into that side of the business. And then we had the main event. We had Jey Uso come out looking strong, didn't he, in the 6-man tag, which was good. It was a great match, to be fair. Everyone looked really good. Jey, Ricochet, Andrade. The only person who didn't look good was JD McDonough, and that was probably because of the size of the lump on his head.
Yeah.
Surprising that
disgusting.
There wasn't no concussion protocols or anything in place there, but he wrestled. I thought it was like a work, I didn't think it was as bad until I saw his Twitter post today. And you think to yourself, wow, he actually connected with him and left a dent in his head. That was your Raw. I'll start the other way around this time. George, what was your rating for Raw?
I'm going to go for 7 because I always love seeing the Yeet Master. So I thought it was a decent show. Obviously, the only negative was the draft again, but I thought some of the segments were good. I do have to say I was laughing at R-Truth thinking he was going to the NFL. That was
quite funny.
I probably say a 7. I thought it was a decent show. Not the greatest, not the worst.
Yeah. Cool. Abdi?
I agree with George on this one. I think it was a 7 out of 10 show. I feel slightly better. It was like better than Smackdown a bit. My overall thoughts on the draft was that I feel like a lot of people did get too many hopes up in terms of it. I feel like they could have done it in a better way. There was a better method of doing it if this was the aim of what they wanted to do in terms of retaining a lot of the superstars. There were a lot more movers and shakers on the Monday. I know factions count as one pick, so there's still a lot of bodies. Like Damage Control's a huge one. You got Io, Dakota, Kyrie, and Asuka, multiple women's champions within that group, and that you can split them up at any time. You have 4 straight top level talent right there if you need it. But yeah, I felt like it was a fine draft. It wasn't the best. It wasn't the worst. I don't think it was as bad as people making out to seem, but I do think there's a better method of handling the situation next year potentially. But yeah, overall, it was all right.
Cool. Tony?
I was going to give it an 8 out of 10, but I'm changing my mind because I just remembered my friend was on it. So it's going to get a 7.
Speed makes it drop a whole point, yeah?
Literally, like, why did he... I get that he's one of the prime people, whatever, but what relevance does he have?
Demos, my friend, demos. Different demographics. That's what they're trying to reach out to. And he's got a lot of
as a
subscribers.
final boss would say, F the demos. You know what I mean?
As soon as I start seeing KSI.
That's money, man. That's money.
Wait,
say F money.
KSI will be around. He'll be in the white 6.
You have to turn off if he ends up on that screen. I can't kill KSI. I would love to see like a Royal Rumble, everyone just against KSI.
Okay, George. We'll move on. We know you hate KSI now. Adam, what was yours? Raw review rating?
I'm going to give it the same as I gave Smackdown, another 6 out of 10. I don't mean that in any sort of negative way. I think it's just a slightly above average show. And again, they did what they had to do. You know, the draft was what it was. It obviously makes it a bit difficult for a show to flow in a certain way because you've got to keep starting and going up to the ramp and bringing people out. So yeah, I thought it's perfectly fine. You know, and I'm giving it a 6 out of 10.
I'm going to have to go 7.5. I know you don't like them, but it was. I went with a 7 for Smackdown, so it's only right that I go a little bit higher. It wasn't anything special. It wasn't amazing. It wasn't bad, but I felt that the draft picks and the matches that we got were slightly better than what we had on Smackdown.
Cool. So yeah, just before we move on to our Backlash predictions, I just want to wish the center of the universe a happy birthday. We're going to do a new little segment where we get their birthdays on. So happy 25th birthday to Tiffany Stratton. Ludwig Kaiser's a very lucky man.
Ludriz.
He is.
Quick thing that I'm not sure if any of you noticed. There was a segment towards the start of the show, and in the background, Liv Morgan and Dominic Mysterio both came out.
Yeah.
Sorry. They came out of the same room like a minute apart or something like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a little thing for the eagle-eyed viewers. Apologies.
It's all right. Twitter was in a storm with it, so trying to cram everything into this show is different.
And the new Uncle Heldy.
Teaser. Another promo we had as well, didn't we?
Yeah.
So once they're all together, we'll try and decode.
There was one on NXT as well.
Yeah, there was one in NXT, which was interesting.
Yeah, we'll see.
So we've got Backlash this Saturday in good old France. Be nice and early for us UK fans, which is is great at last. We don't have
Smackdown too, and Smackdown.
Yep, this Friday at 6:00. Which will be interesting. So only 5 matches on the card as of yet. We don't have to be any more added. So I'm going to go around and just take your predictions and, brief what you feel might happen in the match. So I'll start with you, Craig, first. The women's tag team title match, mate.
I am going with Belair and Cargill. I think it's under this new era, whatever you want to call it. I think they'll add that prestige, that little something. I don't think they're going to set up where maybe Cargill turns on Bianca this early. I think they might leave that for somewhere later down the line. So yeah, I'm going Cargill and Belair to win.
Cool. Adam?
I'm going Kabuki Warriors. As I kind of touched on earlier, I don't think they're going to hang around. I think they'll push the button, whatever it is, pull the trigger with Bianca and Jade Cargill having a feud.
Tony?
So yeah, the Kabuki Warriors will win.
Again, I think Bianca and Jade, I think they'll win. I think it will set up, they'll win the title and then obviously break up in the near future and have a feud together. So yeah, I'm going to go with them to win.
Cool. Abdi?
Bianca and Jade. Pretty cut and dry for this one. Yeah.
Cool. And George?
There's a storm coming. I'm going for Bianca. It's got to be Jade all the way.
Cool. And I'm going to go with Kabuki Warriors as well. I feel they will pull the trigger early. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see. The next match we have the new... Someone called them the Bad Line a couple of weeks ago, so we'll go with that. The Bad Line versus KO and RKO. Be an interesting match. I'll start the other way around this time. George, what's your prediction and thoughts on the match?
I didn't even know this was a match. You've put me on the spot now.
Sorry, mate.
Trust you. Go for... I'm really torn for this because I know, like they said about losing has consequences, but hasn't Solo lost for the last 5? But I'm gonna
Yes.
don't worry about that Solo. I'm gonna go for I'm gonna go for the Bad Line or whatever they're flipping called. Yeah, go for them.
Cool. Abdi?
I'm going to go with Solo and his MFT, Tamatonga. Yeah.
Cool. Tony?
Yeah, Solo and Tamatonga for me. I just think that to build it, they need to have a couple of victories and obviously have a match together and try and get over some more heat. And yeah, and I think we might even see a new member added.
Yes, this is the guy who didn't show up, yeah. Adam?
Yeah, I put that in the thing that he might not show up. Like they changed it, and they want to wait.
Maybe for this, you never know.
It's more to establish Tama as well, just to sort of let him bed in first, and then afterwards bring someone in.
Yeah. Adam?
Yeah, so same as everyone else. I think the Bad Line, whatever they're called, Bad Line. I think it's me that came up with Bad Line and Good Line, so I'll stick with it. Yeah, it has been a while since we saw a random Samoan turn up in a hoodie on the outside of a ring, so we could have that happen. But no, I don't think Jacob
will turn up in a hoodie, no doubt.
Bloodline will.
Yeah, true.
Guys. Well, you'd know who that was, surely. Who could that be?
Yourself?
Yeah, same as everyone else. I think the storyline they're going with, making Solo this sort of bigger, meaner, sort of leader character. I think it only cements where they're trying to go with it and makes them stronger. I agree with Mr. Tom as well. I think Tama's going to win it for them. It makes him look good and bad and mean. So yeah, I'm going with the Bad Line.
Cool. I'm going to do it for shits and giggles. I'm going for RKO and KO. I feel Bloodline will be strong, but I reckon they'll get disqualified. They'll go a bit too far, and it'll cost them the match. So I'm thinking of it along them sort of lines. Maybe a DQ loss for the Bad Line. Cool. And Craig, sorry, George, what was that?
So John Cena's going to turn up in a hoodie. Yeah,
John Cena can cost the match, to be fair. You never know. And then, Craig, next match, we have the triple threat for the WWE Women's title. What's your prediction, mate?
I'm going to go Bayley. I don't see her dropping it at the moment. I think it will be a good match with quite a few near falls. I think it will make Tiffany look better. She'll come away from it looking better and stronger and potential champion going forward. Probably showcase Naomi a little bit as well. Potentially set them two up maybe for Money in the Bank. But yeah, I can't see Bailey dropping it.
Cool. Adam?
Yeah, agreed. Obviously, they've only just had Bailey A turn face and B win the title, so I can't think they're gonna take it off her just yet. I agree with Craig. It'll be a pretty good match. It'll make Tiffany look really strong.
Tony?
But yeah, Bailey will come.
Disagree. I think Tiffany will win.
Ooh.
I think that she's over the last couple of weeks. She's kind of been in every show and she's interrupted. I mean, I think she's the new Nia Jax, where she's interrupting everyone. But obviously, I think she'll win, and yeah, I think she'll win the title.
Sorry, I'm not laughing at you, man.
So I was seeing it before you put it on here, what he just said.
Dude wipes will see an increase in sale.
That's the only time I would buy dude wipes.
Abdi, yourself?
I'm very tempted to go with Tiff, but yeah, I don't know if it's going to be now. I feel like her time will come, but I don't think it's yet. There is a big possibility, but I think it's going to be Bailey, and I feel like she's going to be heading into a feud with, unfortunately, some of your least favourites, Nia Jax. So, yeah, Bailey.
Can't wait.
George?
Do we get any bonus points on this?
No bonus points available this pay-per-view because there's only 5 matches.
I thought the lights might go out and Bliss will come through it. I'm just leaning towards Bailey, but I think it will showcase everyone's talent. But I think it'll be close between Bailey and Tiffany.
Cool. I'm going to go Tiffany as well, just because it's Tiffany. that's the only reason. Sorry, George, your mic cutting out. Are you all right?
Yeah, I was saying that I think it'll just more lean towards Bailey facing Tiffany, but then they're on different shows, aren't they?
No, same show.
No, same show, yeah. Yeah. So Bailey, cool. Tiff. I'll go back to you, George, as well for the next one. Damian Priest versus Jey Uso. What's your prediction?
What, my head or my heart?
Whatever one you feel you can win with.
Unfortunately, because WWE is stupid, it'll probably be Damian Priest, but I really want it to be Jey, but I'm going Damian.
Cool. Abdi?
I wouldn't mind it to be Jey, but I think it's going to be Damian.
Yeet.
Tony?
Yeah, Damian for me.
Damian. Adam? Yeah. Craig?
Yeah,
Damian Priest to win.
I just think they're not going to have him cash in and drop it on the first title defense. So, yeah,
they
Priest.
could.
They
Stranger
could.
things have happened.
They could, but they won't.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably not. It'd be a moment, though.
Yeah, it would be indeed. It's just strange. I'm going to go Damian as well, but it's just strange. There's only 5 matches, isn't there? And all the title holders, except for obviously the Kabuki Warriors, are favourites to keep their titles. So could there be a surprise on the cards? We'll have to wait and see. And then, Craig, the main event, Cody versus AJ. I'm sure everyone's going to go for Cody. I don't know if anyone's going to go for AJ, but go for it, mate. What's your prediction?
Yeah, I'm going Cody. I think it will be a good match. But I think it's more of the one. I think I saw something that AJ has done the last 2 backlash or over the years. So many backlashes and has elevated that new champion. So it'll be a really good match. He'll be pushed to the limit, but Cody will stand tall at the end of it. But AJ will come away looking strong too. But yeah, I'm going Cody to retain.
Cool. Adam?
Yeah, Cody to retain, almost definitely.
Yeah. Tony?
Yeah, I think AJ will win. I think.
Hey.
Sorry. I
hope you lock that in. You said AJ.
Yeah, lock it in. Lock it in.
Yeah, lock it in.
I think Cody will beat AJ. Like you said, he's done the last couple of backlashes and he's come out looking really strong. So I think he'll take the loss and I think Cody will retain.
Cool.
Cody will retain. Remember?
Abdi?
Yeah, it's Cody, and it's going to be Cody. AJ is going to still keep his credibility, and hopefully they'll put on a phenomenal match because he's phenomenal. So,
No pun intended.
no pun intended.
George, yourself?
Same champion.
Who? Sorry.
Same champion.
Same. Cody. Yeah.
I love the infused. Same.
Same champion. Yeah, just for the record, I'm going for.
We
Cody.
just got here. We just got here, mate.
Been here for ages.
We just got here. Roman was champ for like 14,000 years. Come on, man.
Finishing that story for the last 2. Let's
His
see.
first defense was against a Stegosaurus. That's how long Roman Reigns was champion. So yeah, we got it.
Yeah.
Let's see what he does when he's finished his story, or if he's just going to be boring and then.
We shall see. We shall see.
Well, you will.
I mean,
Right.
we'll indulge in it together. Yeah.
Unless MJF cashes in.
He's not coming. Just get over it,
His
man.
diamond gold ring, whatever.
Yeah, soon. Right, let's go into Craig's Fact of the Week.
Right. So, Cena versus JBL, Triple H versus Orton, and Undertaker versus Punk are the only 3 matches in WWE history to both close and open a pay-per-view. So Cena versus JBL was the opener of Judgment Day in 2008 and the main event of Judgment Day in 2005. Triple H versus Orton opened No Mercy in 2007 and main evented Unforgiven in 2004. Judgment Day in 2008 and WrestleMania XXV in 2009. Meanwhile, Punk versus The Undertaker was the main event of Breaking Point and the first match at Hell in a Cell in 2009.
Wow.
There you go.
Also, a fun fact for you.
Yeah.
The No Mercy one. I'm not sure if you mentioned it, but they also main evented that night as well.
I don't think I did, but yeah. That's an extra one.
Last man standing, and I think that was one of the only times the title was defended 3 times one night and changed hands twice.
Wow.
Nice.
Well, actually 3 times, didn't it? Yeah. Randy won it twice, and Triple H won it from him first night, and he had to defend against Umaga. So yeah, there was a lot going on that night.
Yeah. Busy night.
Busy night indeed.
Thank you for that, Craig. Just want to say a couple of hellos. Hello to Miss Melina in the chat. Hello to Jordan as well. LFC fan. Nice to have you in here, mate, even though you support them. But yeah, how you're always welcome in WWE. We keep the football chat away.
If you've just got here, by the way, are you on like a different time zone or something? You know, we're like an hour and a half in.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely have to watch back as well.
You can watch it back. That's all right.
Yeah, watch the replay.
We're probably maybe watching the games that was on tonight as well. Yeah, we're going to go into our last segment of the show. If I can find the video. There it is. Tony's News.
Evening, everyone. So I'm going to start with on May the 25th in Saudi, we have the King and Queen of the Ring. It was announced during the week that on May the 6th episode of Raw, we will start having qualifying matches for it. No other news has come out yet. No news about the Queen of the Ring, anything yet. So obviously, if the King of the Ring starting soon, I would imagine Queen of the Ring to start very soon. Next on is, everyone may have seen on social media that Drew McIntyre has indeed re-signed with WWE. He put a tweet out saying that I trust Triple H when he brought me back in 2017, and I trust him now to lead the evolution of our industry. Here's to the future. And obviously the picture that Jonezy put up was what he tweeted. So yeah, we've speculated it for a few months now. we've got the news. I don't think anyone really thought anything different. He's doing he is doing the best work of his career. So long may it continue. Next on the news, it's not really, it may be of an interest to us, but Peacock are putting their prices up in mid-July. So basically they've got two different subscription payments. So they've got a premium with ads has increased by £2 to $7.99, and the premium plus has gone up to $13. So basically it's gone up by £2 for the monthly ones and £20 a year if you pay it annually. So would that mean a price increase for us on the network? Obviously, with it going to Netflix in January for Raw, I don't know. So again, if I hear anything, I'll update next week or the week after. But at the moment, that's all I've got. So that's a bit of with everything going up, phone bills and everything. Just one more thing, you know. Yeah. And a new part is because there's not many of our followers, and I don't think there's many that are pretty much up to date with NXT. So in my news segments, I'm going to just try and get one piece of NXT news, that's the headline news, just to bring people up to speed with it. This week, the general manager, Ava, announced that there will be the first ever NXT Women's North American Championship match, and it will be crowned in a ladder match at the NXT Battleground, which is taking place on the 9th of June in Las Vegas in the Apex UFC arena. I think there's a few of us on this panel who are here today and who aren't, that have said we need a mid-card women's title, and I think NXT have pushed it the right way. So hopefully if that has a good success, hopefully they can follow it up and put one on the main roster. Last piece of news, I think Jonezy said it near enough at the beginning, but there is potentially going to be some trades expected between Raw and Smackdown before they lock in on Monday. They didn't specifically say who, what brand or anything. So again, we just have to stay tuned to all their socials, because I'm sure they'll put some videos and some stuff up. But yeah, that's all from me.
Cheers, thank you. And you've helped BX Gunning. You've just told him his bills are going up, so you've helped him out there. So hopefully,
I thought he's talking about when Tiffany Stratton was on screen again, but never mind.
Take out the P, but maybe yeah. But yeah, no, and so yeah, that's your Wednesday night drop zone, guys. Thank you very much for tuning in tonight and being with us. Had great engagement in the chat and also some good numbers on the viewers as well. Listen, we do this show because you enjoy it and you're here watching and commenting on it as well. So we're just a bunch of baldy blokes, well, some of us who love enjoying talking.
Speak for yourself.
But yeah, no, just want to say thank you to my panel. George, thank you for coming on tonight, mate.
No worries, thank you, mate. Look, I just had to fill my head because last time before the show.
Don't worry, you'll soon be there, mate. Abdi, thank you very much for coming on tonight.
Anytime, my friend. It's always a pleasure to be on, and hopefully see you again soon.
Cool. Tony, thank you very much for popping on tonight.
That's fine, no problem. Thank you again.
Cheers. And Adam, thank you very much for coming on.
Thanks, mate. The pleasure's mine as always.
Excellent. And Craig, thank you as always, mate.
No worries, mate. Always enjoy coming on.
Excellent. And so, so we have Backlash this Saturday, a Smackdown beforehand, so we'll preview that next week. But yeah, all that's left for me to say, well, actually, I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to play you this before we leave. Good night.
Man, he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry.